Terence Bates here with your Real America's Voice Newsbreak. Thanks so much for being here with us. President Trump is headed home to the United States after meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea. The commander-in-chief describing the meeting as a roaring success, saying he'll cut tariffs on China. Beijing, on the other hand, has agreed to allow the export of rare earth minerals and to restart purchases of American soybeans, among other things. However, during the talks to end the ongoing trade war between the world's two largest economies, President Xi also praising President Trump for promoting peace around the world.
The world today is confronted with many tough problems. China and U.S. can jointly shoulder our responsibility as major countries and work together to accomplish more great and concrete things for the good of our two countries and the whole world. I look forward to exchanging views with you on questions important for our two countries and the world.
Amid the talk of peace, President Trump has ordered the Pentagon to resume testing nuclear weapons immediately. Posting on Truth Social, the commander-in-chief writing, because of other countries' testing programs, I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. This news, by the way, coming as Russia says it is beginning research and testing of a nuclear submarine. 47 also points out the U.S. has one of the largest or the biggest nuclear arsenal in the world, followed by Russia and China. While he points out that China is a distant third, he also says the communist regime will have caught up with Russia and the United States within 5 years. In his post, the president also writing, because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but had no choice. That, of course, implies a peace through strength posture. Well, devastation is the word that's being used to describe Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. Jamaica was blown to bits, as you can see here. It took a direct hit from the most powerful hurricane ever, or from one of the most powerful hurricanes ever. At least 4 more bodies have been found in the rubble, and more deaths are expected. That's a quick check of your headlines.
Stop watching the news and start making some. The Charlie Kirk Show.
All right, welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. Andrew Kolvet here. We're about to have a couple of the student leaders from Ole Miss join us because it was such a triumph. We just figured, let's give them the stage. Let's give them a moment to bask in what they accomplished yesterday evening, which was tremendous. So let's just throw one of these up here. 259. This is J.D. Vance on H-1B visas last night. 259.
We let in about 1 million legal immigrants into the United States of America every single year, and I think the evidence is pretty clear that a lot of those immigrants are actually undercutting the wages of American workers. It's one of the reasons why the President of the United States and a lot of us in the administration have encouraged H-1B reform, because if you look at the H-1B visa, what it's supposed to be is that you have a super genius who's studying at an American university, who's working at a great company. You want that super genius to stay in the United States of America and not go somewhere else. What it's actually used to do is hire an accountant at a 50% discount to an American citizen. I don't think that we should be hiring accountants from foreign countries when we've got accountants right here in the United States that would love to work for a good wage.
J.D. Vance, his master class, just taking questions from students. By the way, the students were throwing up tough questions. I was actually a little worried that people were going to think we screened them because there's so many, conservative and fans of the administration in that part of the country. And, man, they came up with some good questions, I have to say. Welcoming to the show now are 2 of the student leaders at our chapter at Ole Miss that made yesterday evening possible. That would be Leslie Lockman and Kent Tonos. Leslie, you are the chapter president Ole Miss. You did a phenomenal job. And Kent Tonos, you're the vice president. Welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show.
Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here, especially after last night. We're coming down from it, but we could be more thrilled.
Yes,
okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor to have you guys here. So just take the audience into what it's like to be you. You are chapter president and vice president of this campus. You find out that J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk are going to be coming to Ole Miss. Like, how does this work? What are your roles? How'd you pull this off?
Yeah, I think so. I found out just about 2 weeks before. I think immediately I thought to myself, oh my goodness, this is going to be the event of the year, not only for Ole Miss, but for Turning Point USA. It's the largest event in history. So I thought right away we have to get to work. Kenneth is my right-hand man when it comes to all things details, event coordination. And so I think a lot of it was tabling, spreading the word, details. What would you say?
I have yes, tabling, and actually it's odd because somebody random came up to me when we were tailgating for the LSU Ole Miss game and said, "Do you know who the speaker is?" And I said, "I have no idea." And they said, "I heard it could be JD Vance." And this was far before anything was announced, anything was in the works. So I just had that in the back of my head. I was like, maybe this guy's just pulling my leg. And then the day I find out, when everybody else finds out with the announcement, and I was like, "There's no way this guy is." I don't know if he was like a CIA agent or something. It was funny, but
Let's hope not.
it's yeah, I know. It's been like it's been a very uphill battle, and it's been phenomenal.
Well, that's amazing to hear. Yeah, I might have had a little advance notice on that because I was part of the team working behind the scenes to figure out if we were going to be, because we were kind of getting down to the wire, and it was like, oh, he's either going to do November 5th at Auburn, or he's going to do October 29th. And obviously, when you're working with a vice president's schedule and all the travel and all the other obligations, it's tough to get it locked in. And man, I just, so take us into this, to the campus though. I mean, first, I think I would love to know how your chapter is doing in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination. What's the vibe, the tone? How big is it? How is it growing? Tell us about those details.
Yeah, so when I first took over presidency, we were looking at 200 members. It was a smaller organization on campus. It had a presence, but nothing to the size it is now. We're looking at 14,000 on Instagram, just over 2,000 on our GroupMe. You know, we were prepared. We were ready. We had meetings already booked, tabling ready on the calendar. So when the whole thing boomed, we felt really prepared in moving with this whole thing. So it has exponentially grown. Students not only want to be involved with this campus, but you can see the impact it's had across the country. We've become a forefront chapter for what Turning Point USA should look like, kind of a model guide, everything from buttons custom made to what the table should be set up as, to how can you do positive conservative conversation on the campus of Ole Miss. And I'd say not only is it growth and a win for Ole Miss, but I think it's a win for all Turning Point chapters.
Yes, as Leslie said, we've grown exponentially, and it's crazy to see the access that, you know, through our GroupMe and just our university site, the thing called the forum. We get almost 10 to 20 people that want to join every single day, and it amazes me how many people want to be involved, and it's great. It's fantastic.
Wow. So maybe, I mean, it's probably too early to tell, but I mean, I've got to believe after last night's event, I mean, to your point, that was not only the biggest chapter tour stop in Turning Point's history. I mean, there's 10,000 people in that arena last night. And people need to understand this. Like, sometimes at our events, we have mostly students and some adults because, you know, there's a little room left over, and we can get the adults sit in the standby line, and we get them in as soon as all the students get seated. We had to turn away students last night. That I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's a first in, especially one of these bigger tour stops. It's a 10,000 person arena. And it was 10,000 students packed to the brim, standing in line in the rain. And I'm told that you guys have about 27,000 student body count or whatever. There was 14,000 student registrations, 13,000 adult registrations, and we had to work to tell the adults, please do not come. You won't get in. Please do not come. And yet a lot of them came. I mean, it was truly, truly amazing. You guys have to, I've got to imagine, after an event like that, your chapter's only going to continue to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was really a starting point. This was the turning point. You know, it's kind of ironic, but it is really true. You see, it's not only people wanting to, you know, they came to the event, they were excited, they're wearing the merch, but it's action. I think this is going to convert into voting numbers later on. I think this is going to convert to a bigger picture thinking. And I see this later on turning blue states red.
Yes, and preventing further government shutdowns too. It's another thing. You know, we see it just right now, and it's great to have this positive feedback from, you know, not only our tour but hopefully other tour stops that come along. just to see the young people get involved. And, the conservative way is the right way. So I love the way that people view that.
Said.
Yeah, Charlie always he loved to talk to Gen Z people. He loved to hear what motivated them, what had they seen to try to understand them better. So you guys have seen that there's been a conservative shift among young people. So I thought I'd ask, you've probably talked to a good number of freshmen who've just arrived on campus. Have they said what shapes their worldview the most, and how do they even differ from maybe seniors on your campus? What have we seen just over the past 4 years in terms of how American young people are feeling politically?
I'd say that conservative values on the campus of Ole Miss have always been alive and well, but this freshman class is passionate. I think Charlie Kirk really pushed off that conversation of deeper involvement in the conservative party. I think it's one thing to, go out and say you love it, but to see the persuasion of almost everyone around you, it's immaculate.
Yeah, and the freshmen have a different mindset. The seniors that I've talked to are like, well, am I even going to be able to get a job? As J.D. Vance pointed out, with the visas that we have, am I even going to be able to get a job when I graduate? Can I even come from this accounting school and go be an accountant where I want to be an accountant, or am I going to get beat out somewhere? So it's one of those things where the drive for our seniors is a different type of drive than the freshmen, and the freshmen are, they're happy, they're excited, and they have different values. But when they get to that senior level, they'll go back and be like, well, I want that job too. So
and another thing to note also, you just brought up, we have a freshman on our team. She's new. She wants to make these buttons and design them and spend hours versus, if you're a senior, you've gone through college, you've done it, you're a little bit, but I think it's crucial to have both parts, because at the end of the day, everyone needs to go to those polls. Everyone's still voting. So I think whether you're hands-on at that table or stepping a little bit back just to be a part of the events, all of it is very important to us.
Well, so tell me, to kind of piggyback off what Blake said, what was the reaction of students to some of the answers that JD gave? What was the reaction to students about Erica's speech? I mean, what are you people telling you? What are the students saying?
I mean, I would definitely say the reaction has been nothing but positive. Those questions were hard hitting. I mean, we sat next to each other. We were in the front row. We were seeing this happen live. I'm looking at Kenneth. I'm like, some of those, but I'd say he handled it so well, so delicately. I'm so proud of Ole Miss for these well thought out, developed questions. You never know if kids are going to come up there and say crazy stuff, but I felt really proud of our community that they came with strong questions, prepared, and the reactions have been positive. I think personally, we can all remember Ricky Bobby comment, the comment of the evening. Our pages were all about it. I think that kid's a hoot. I said later in the group chat, haha, he's got to be on exec. And so I think even how raw and true it was to what Ole Miss was, I couldn't be prouder.
It also shows, we all don't have to agree on everything. And they even pointed that out yesterday, is even if they have only 20% to something in common that you have, that doesn't mean you get to turn them away. That means that they can ask questions, and you can even ask questions, because JD even said there is no neutrality. You're always going to be biased on one side or the other. So, and it was great to see that last night.
Man, that is great. Leslie, I have to tell you, I ran into a reporter there. The outlet will remain anonymous for our sake here. This was off the record conversation, and those do go both ways. But I will tell you, this reporter was singing your praises, and she was like, "We have to, Turning Point has to make sure we hold on to Leslie." Are you a senior this year, Leslie?
No, I'm a junior, and I actually just turned 20 like a little bit ago. It's just my birthday. And so it's always funny when people approach me and they're like, "You're the president." And I'm like, yes, because cool, hot, young, conservative women can be the forefront of this conversation, especially at Turning Point. And I think, me being the face of it, I think sometimes you get a little confused. But at the end of the day, if you dig deep, I think it makes sense. I'd say our team responds pretty well.
And our team is significantly young too. And the way we work with each other is just crazy. The amount of stuff that we can work together on and get done is just, it's pushing each other, hey, we're college students too. Well, let's get this ball rolling.
I love that. And Kenneth, I didn't get a chance to meet you. Leslie, I was backstage when you met the vice president. So I didn't want to interrupt that at that moment, but I saw the way you comported yourself and handled yourself, and it was very impressive. So congratulations to Leslie and Kent from Ole Miss. They run a great chapter there that's bursting at the seams. 2,000 people on your group me. So congratulations, you two. Well done. Keep it up. You're making Charlie proud.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. God bless you guys. Well done. Those are the, I mean, if you're in the audience, you're wondering what's the future of America? You just saw it. And that was all made possible by their grit and tenacity and by Charlie's vision. So God bless everyone that played a part. We'll be right back.